The Black Ark Shooter OVA is one of my favorite pieces of Black Ark Shooter media. Innocent Soul taking first. I got priorities, okay? In the OVA, we get to see Mato and Yomi becoming best friends and soulmates, you know? But that's not important right now. What's more important is Mato's phone in the OVA. The actual model is a blue SoftBank Jelly Bean 840SH, which released barely a year before the OVA did. I, of course, can't use that in today's day and age, especially with America's 3G networks all being shut down and 2G is dying next year. So, I did the next best thing. I Frankensteined a phone to make this beauty. This is an LG smartphone released by LGU Plus in South Korea in 2017. This is my main device I use every single day. I don't use any big smartphones. Of course, the one I'm using right now to record is a smartphone, but I'm not using it as my daily carry. I use it for video calls and for video recording. I don't take it out with me when I go places or when I go shopping or when I go to work. This is what I take with me, okay? Now, the problem is that this phone doesn't release in blue, okay? It comes in a couple colors, but none of them are even anywhere close to this shade of blue. So, I did what any normal person would do, and I ordered blue vinyl and shipped a clear phone case from South Korea just so that way I could have this blue, that was as close as humanly possible. You can still kind of see the whiteness of the original phone on there. Having this phone instead of the actual original model does have its drawbacks because the inside is just not screaming Mato's OVA phone at all. Especially this bottom part down here. The other part, yeah, sure, whatever. But this bottom part is just brown. So, that's a shame, but everything else about this phone, perfection. I have done so much work to it. It is my favorite thing in the whole wide world. Okay, so on the outside, I have this charm, right? Now, it obviously isn't the one that they sold in 2010 to actually go with the OVA. But do I look like I'm going to pay $100 for a phone charm right now? I could. Logically, I have the money. But that's a bit too ridiculous for me right now. I'm going to get it eventually, but not today. So, I made this. I've had it for about 3 years now. And my favorite part of it is the fact that my best friend, I made him a Yomi charm. And we have Mato and Yomi charms, and that's so cute! I love that! I love it so bad! Mine is definitely worn up because this one has gone from phone to phone. This thing has been a Samsung. This one has been on an old LG flip phone before this one. This thing has been through it for the past 3 years. This thing has been through it. But it's my phone. It's kind of like how in the OVA Mato had hers for a long time before getting Yomi one. I like to imagine it's like that. So, anyways, we flip open the phone. And here's my lock screen. Now I know it's just Hatsune Miku, so it's not really Black Ark Shooter themed, but I made this wallpaper myself. It's my favorite lock screen in the whole world. I love it to death. I don't care what you say. But let's see what happens after we unlock the phone. That's where things get interesting. On my home screen, you can see that, here, hold up. On my home screen, you can see that I actually have Mato's wallpaper. I had to make this myself because it's not like anyone else was going to do it. I posted it online for everyone else. I'm like, you know what? Somebody else might get a little kick out of this. I don't know if anyone did, but I posted it because I got a job. And you can see that I put the time up there to match with Mato's in the OVA. And you can also see, here, hold up. You can also see that there's a bunch of apps on the screen. Now, that's kind of weird. A flip phone with apps. This phone runs Android 7. So I'm able to, install apps and all that. But I will say, I stay off of social media. You may see Instagram there, you may see Discord there, but I only use those as a way to message my friends because those are the only ways I can message them because nobody uses texting. Here. If I hit the contacts button, it will of course take you to my contacts where all of my icons are from official Black Ark Shooter icon packs released over the years. You can see the top one has the Dead Master Downfall icon. The one below it has the icons from the 2012 website. The one below that has it from Fragment, and so on and so forth. Every single person in my contacts does have a official Black Ark Shooter icon, except for a couple, just to differentiate them from friends versus family versus work. But for the most part, everyone here has Black Ark Shooter icons. If we hit this star button, I know, pretty real, isn't it? It takes you to my music, where I have the entire where I have the entire OVA soundtrack ripped from my CD, along with the A-Seed CD and the Before the Nightmare CD, along with No Scared by One OK Rock. I plan to sometime get the 2012 anime soundtrack on here, but I haven't gotten that yet, and I don't really know where to go to find that. So that's for another day. Speaking of context, this phone does actually have service. So I'm gonna call it right now just to show off my ringtone. You won't believe what the ringtone is. You're never gonna believe what the ringtone is. You're not gonna believe what the ringtone is. All right, I'm gonna call the phone right now. And I can answer it. It's going to echo really badly because I'm calling from another phone. I'm gonna hang it up. But yeah, that is the outro scene from the 2012 anime. It's not the theme. It's the outro thing where they're previewing for the next episode. So it ends very smoothly. It's not like a cutoff loop where it repeats really weirdly. It ends smoothly. I'll put the audio here. Whatever. Another audio thing I have on here is my notifications down. I ripped the notifications down from the 2012 anime in the second episode where Mato gets a notification from Yomi while at the festival thing I forgot the name of. And here you go, hold on. There we go. You can still hear the piano music in the background, but let's ignore that for now, okay? It's kind of hard to rip audio from a show, okay? This phone running Android is super helpful because it means I can still keep in contact with all my friends, of course, because most of my friends, I said before, I can only message through like Instagram or Discord because nobody texts because everyone uses, if you text, you use iMessage, and there's no way this thing is getting iMessage. Beyond that though, I don't really scroll social media, even though I do have Instagram, I tend to not scroll it. I tend to keep my phone usage down compared to my original Samsung. I went down from about 27 hours a week to about 8 hours a week, which is an insane difference if you ask me. I went down from, I used to use like 7 or 8 hours a day beforehand, but now that's how much I'm using in a week. And that is such a drastic jump just from switching to this. When I do go on social medias, I tend to just use my laptop or my computer, and I do prefer it actually because it means I can post images in higher quality. And I do like to take photos with this bad boy. I've posted them before because, like I said, it's my daily carry. This is what I take photos with. It's what I take photos with friends with. It's what I take photos of me laying down in the middle of Hot Topic with a dead mattress shirt on top of me. You know, yeah. It's given me a lot of peace to not be on social media as insanely and frequently as I used to be, because I used to constantly scroll Twitter, and it does sadden me a bit that I'm not as up to date on Black Rock Shooter news, but I do know deep down I am still a hardcore dedicated fan, especially considering, again, this is my daily carry, man. How can I not be dedicated? Look at my glasses, bro. I got stars on these bad boys. Look at my headband. I need to cut that laugh out. So with this phone, I do get to live out my OVA dreams. I do feel like it's such a perk in every single possible way. I get to not be as addicted to social media. I get to be one of the most hardcore Black Rock Shooter fans using this as my daily carry. I know I keep saying that, but I'd like to properly get across the fact that I do use this as my daily carry. And like, the fact that it does have like music apps means I don't have to carry around an iPod, despite the fact that I do have one. And I do want to start carrying around like an actual camera more, but this camera does work nice in good lighting. Like, it's seriously so great. Like, I show photos that I take on this phone out in like the summertime and all that, and I ask people, does this look like I took it on a flip phone? They're like, no, it looks like you took it on like a regular big phone, like the one I'm using to record this. Again, I already explained the situation with that. But it's so nice to not constantly be scrolling on TikTok and Twitter all the time, and to constantly be like spending so much time and eye strain on those apps. And I've noticed my anxiety and stress has gone down by a significant amount. I do of course have it sometimes, but it's not as bad as it used to be. I'm not constantly like dreading the end of the world and stuff like that. And I know I'm rambling a lot more about like phone addiction right now rather than Black Rock Shooter, but I want to bring that along in with this. Okay, I think I'll end my rambling here, but it's so fun to get to show this off. This is the first time I've done like a proper video in general and a video of explaining this, because it's just my favorite thing in the world. It's so good. Okay, I'll stop rambling.